The super full moon in Aquarius. Time to make sure you are giving with compassion and receiving with gratitude. Hello beautiful people. Life can be a challenge, but at least we have each other. Now this supermoon is going to be the very last supermoon of 2022, which is a very significant energetic opening. So in the first part of this video, I'll be going over the 3 things that everyone should know about this super full moon. Then I will go over how it will affect your individual sign. And all I ask in return is that you give that like button a little tap, a baby tap. Tap. Okay, no more wasting time. Let's go. Now this super full moon in Aquarius takes place on Friday, August 12th at 1:36 a.m. Universal Time, which would be 6:36 p.m. on Thursday, August 11th if you're on Pacific Time, 9:36 p.m. on Thursday, August 11th if you're on Eastern Standard Time, and for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, this will be at 11:36 a.m. on Friday, August 12th if you're in Sydney, Australia, and 3:36 a.m. on Friday, August 12th in Johannesburg, South Africa. So let's jump right into the top 3 things you need to know in order to make the most of this energetic opening. Number 1, for those of you in the time zones where the full moon takes place on August 11th, this will bring the powerful manifesting energy of the master number 11. And in the time zones where the full moon takes place on August 12th, this will bring the powerful manifesting energy of the number 3. And no matter what time zone you are in, this super full moon in Aquarius will bring the magical tarot energy of the star card. So if you're in the time zone where the full moon takes place on the 11th, the full moon will be bringing the energy of the master number 11, which opens the door to spiritual enlightenment. It is telling you that your life goals are right in front of you, and this is the time to act. Expect to have heightened intuition, heightened creativity, and the insight to know what to do and when to do it with regard to manifesting exactly what it is that you've been working towards, manifesting your dreams into reality. Now, those of you in a time zone where the full moon takes place on the 12th, you can harness the power of the number 3, which is bringing the message to embrace your individuality and amp up your confidence. The number 3 is also letting you know that now is the time to really put your heart and soul into what matters most to you. Taking action to manifest the things that you desire during this full moon energy will have a very powerful effect on what you bring to fruition in the very near future. And no matter what time zone you're in, the tarot energy of the star card is letting you know that after all you have been through, the struggles, the pain, the confusion, the sadness, the frustration, after experiencing all the circumstances that brought on those emotions, you are now ready to receive the blessings that you deserve. Not only will you be feeling more at peace, but you will also be stepping into the transformed you. Number 2. This full moon will be forming a challenging aspect with Uranus in Taurus, Mars in Taurus, an intensifying aspect with Saturn in Aquarius, and a very positive aspect with Jupiter in Aries. Now the relationship the full moon forms with Uranus, the planet of innovation, awakenings, and the element of surprise, will lend to your inner rebel making a very strong appearance. It will lend to emotional outbursts and also impulsive behavior. So it will be very important to for sure be ready to make big decisions, but only when you've really taken some time to come to the conclusion of what that decision should be for you. This is not the time of having an emotional reaction to something and then making a majorly big decision based on that emotional reaction. If some conflict comes up in your personal life, don't immediately see it as a sign that it's time to end the connection. Instead, see it as a time for major change and taking an innovative approach to rebuilding the connection. Then, if the other party involved resists this sort of resolution, then you have the fact that the commitment to the relationship isn't balanced on both parts, which could lead to you coming to the conclusion that releasing the relationship may be the best option. Just make sure that you have exhausted all solution possibilities before making any final call. The relationship the full moon forms with Mars will lend to patience running out and tempers running hot. So knowing this will help bring awareness to your personal relationships in those moments when things start to get heated or conflict arises. This way you can operate towards a solution without being consumed and then controlled by whatever emotion you're feeling. And the relationship the moon forms with Saturn in Aquarius will lend to drama being amplified within your family relationships and your personal romantic relationships. Remember, Saturn is the planet of karma, so this full moon connection to Saturn will bring to light the necessary realizations in these relationships so you can see the effects of certain actions. This way you can resolve the issue, but also be informed on what actions to take in the future in order to create different outcomes. And the relationship the moon forms with Jupiter will lend to good fortune, honesty in relationships, optimistic perspectives, and an excitement to be open with your emotional truth. So this will support you facing any complicated situations from the best perspective possible, also lending to the best outcome possible, which is very exciting. Number 3. The super full moon is a sturgeon moon, which brings the message that the spiritual seeds that you planted for 2022 are finally beginning to manifest. The harvest will be plentiful both spiritually and physically, and a direct reflection of the energy and focus and consistency that you've maintained up until this point. Now that you know the best way to make the most of this energy, let's jump right into what this super full moon in Aquarius will mean for your individual sign. Okay, my powerful Aries, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, for you this will be in your 11th house. So it is your turn, Aries. Not only do you have the strong connection with Jupiter, which means that luck is on your side, but the 11th house transit is all about dreams coming true. And this sturgeon moon is all about manifesting the fruit of your labor, harvesting those seeds that you've planted in terms of what your vision for 2022 is. So Aries, look at this full moon as a time where the next chapter of abundance and good fortune is really taking hold for you. Now, it is important to note that the level at which you manifest will be a direct reflection of the work that you have put into what it is that you genuinely want. And this doesn't always mean physical work. This also means making sure that your words and your thought patterns support your success. You can't say in one breath, I want a new job, and then in the next breath, say things like, things never work out for me. It's important to keep your words in support of positive outcomes. And I know when you say certain things, it's because of the experiences you may have had in your life, but if you want those experiences to change, it's really about changing your perspective, changing your thought patterns, changing the way that you see the world, so that way you can tap into that courageous energy of yours and really move forward in terms of manifesting the life that you desire. Now, if your natal moon is in a challenging aspect to this full moon, this could also mean the ending of a friendship. But if not, this 11th house transit could mean that you have a high probability of actually meeting someone that could be very influential in your life or play a major role in the manifesting that you have coming up. And this would be a friend of some sort. A full moon also brings light to darkness. It reveals things that are hidden. So if there's any information that you've been looking to uncover or any questions that you want answered, Aries, this full moon energy is just the opening that you could be looking for. So overall, Aries, this is an intense but very positive full moon cycle for you, opening the door to your dreams coming true. So embrace this exciting time and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Taurus, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, for you, this will be in your 10th house. So Taurus, this is bringing the focus to your public reputation and your world of career. So don't be surprised if leading up to the full moon, you start to ask yourself questions about your job, or you start to have strong feelings coming up regarding your career. Be open to this energy because it can help bring you the clarity and the confidence that you need in order to feel secure with where you are career-wise. If lately you've been keeping a low profile at work, don't be surprised if some situation comes up that brings the spotlight your way. This 10th house transit could also mean the ending of a job that you've been over for a while. So that's actually a good thing. Sometimes it's scary, but endings are good. And it could also mean the new beginning of a job that you've been wanting, but up until this point, you haven't been able to find that right connection. So this is a positive energy for you, Taurus. If you allow yourself to face some harsh truths, get to the root of what you really want, and then just go for it. It really comes down to taking the time to ask yourself who you are inside, and is that being reflected and fulfilled by what it is that you do for a living? If not, it isn't necessarily time to just jump up and quit, but it is time to make a game plan for yourself to move forward and then transition when the time is right. And regarding what I was saying earlier about a job ending, that could be something that is in the works for a while. It's not just you having the realization and then just being done with it. It's you making a plan for yourself. If you've been planning on leaving the job that you're at, then this full moon could be the time where that plan comes into action. And if you do feel like you're in a job that is fulfilling, well, great. This full moon will amplify that energy. Overall, Taurus, just know that this is the time of year to really get clarity when it comes to your job and your professional world and how it relates to that part of your life for 2022. This energy is supportive and it's positive for you, so keep an optimistic perspective and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Geminis, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, for you, this will be in your 9th house. So this is a big one moon for you Geminis out there. This is the time of year, that final supermoon, where you will really have your eyes opened to who you are and what life is all about for you regarding 2022. Don't be surprised if you start to ask yourself, what am I doing with my life? Or where am I going? Or what really matters to me? And this isn't at all to get down on yourself. It's so you can take the time to answer these questions and get the necessary clarity to begin moving forward and making the choices that you know are supporting your vision and then bringing you fulfillment. Just know your relationships will come into focus, meaning if you feel like your relationships are stuck in any way or not good for you, this full moon will give you the courage to face that and then communicate your needs and then begin the process of improving the situation or letting it go altogether. This full moon in your 9th house also brings the rewards of doing things outside of your comfort zone. So if there's something that you have been wanting to try, but for some reason you've been putting it off or holding back, well, this full moon is the perfect time to give it a go. It could lead to opening the door of excitement in your life. This is a time of being grateful for all that you have, Gemini, but it's also the time for you to establish what you desire, knowing that you deserve it, and not being afraid of letting go of some things. That way you can really usher in some change. The full moon in the 9th house is all about looking at the big picture of your life and making big choices accordingly. So this could be the start of a very exciting chapter for you Geminis, so embrace it and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Cancerians, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, for you this will be in your 8th house. So this will bring a focus to your world of sexual connection, and also if you're in a romantic relationship, this is going to bring focus to the topic of money when it comes to how the two of you navigate that area of the relationship. So Cancers, don't be surprised if a situation comes up in both of these areas of your life, giving you the opportunity to identify what the issue might be, if there is an issue, and then the opportunity to identify what needs to change in order for you to step into a flow of fulfillment and joy in both of these areas. Now, the core of this full moon energy is bringing awareness to the topic of give and take, meaning, do you find that you are the type of person that gives more than you receive, or vice versa? If so, situations will come up that bring that to light as well. If the dynamic of give and take in your life is out of balance, it is very hard to manifest the things that you desire because the energetic flow is off. Now, this full moon is also bringing a strong positive outcome to you investing financially or paying off some debt. The 8th house is also all about death and rebirth, so this lets you know that certain things must come to an end in order for there to be new beginnings. This could be the end of a bad habit or the end of a way of thinking that you know undermines your progress, or a toxic relationship coming to an end. So keep your awareness open to identifying what things in your life need to be released in order for there to be the rebirth that you deserve. Now, this 8th house is one of my favorite transits because it is very intense but very transformative, and being that you are experiencing it at this time of year, Cancers, this also lends to a time period where there is a wave of manifesting energy. So you want to capitalize on that. You want to definitely benefit from taking some time and assessing your life situation, especially when it comes to your love life and your world of finances, which actually goes hand in hand with Leo season being in your 2nd house, because the 2nd house is all about personal finances and the 8th house is all about shared finances. So this is the perfect time to get your flow of abundance in a fantastic place for yourself. And if you're in a relationship, getting it in a good place for you and your significant other. So embrace this opportunity for expansion and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Leos, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, this will be in your 7th house. Now, full moons are always intense, Leos, because it is a time where during your birthday season, you're being reborn, and the energy really is, and it's meant to be all about you during that time. But when the full moon comes along and it's in your opposing sign, it's going to pull on that self-centered energy a bit. And this happens with everyone during their birthday season, but then it gives you a moment to really focus on relationships, things outside of yourself. If you're single, it may have you starting to feel that desire to be in a romantic relationship, and then maybe assessing why you're not in one. Not in a way to get down on yourself at all, just to bring awareness to why you may not have manifested love, if that's something that you genuinely want. And if you don't want it, well, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Then this time is just to make sure that you're giving focus to all areas of your life during your season in terms of what you do want and what you envision for yourself. Now, if you are in a relationship, this full moon will bring major clarity in terms of, is this the relationship that you want to continue, to deepen and move forward, or is it a relationship that's in need of some attention and transformation in order to get to that place where the connection that you have is continuing to support the two of you growing together. And whether you're single or not, this full moon is giving all Leos the opportunity to invest that beautiful Leo loving energy of yours into those you care about, having gratitude for those relationships, and also making sure that you are sharing that compassionate and helpful side of who you are. This full moon in Aquarius transiting your 7th house is the perfect time to have an output of loving energy, Leos, because you know what you put out into this world is what you will get back, especially during this time of year. So embrace this shift in focus during your season, which will just amp up your manifesting power. Embrace the evolving relationships in your life, and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Virgos, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, for you this will be in your 6th house, which is your natural home, Virgos. The 6th house ruler is Virgo, so this will be about your daily activities, but it will also bring a strong energy to your health. Meaning, if you've been dealing with some health issues and looking for answers or clarity in what it all means and where it's all going, this full moon is highly likely to bring that clarity and that information to you. And this isn't always about your physical health. It could be your mental health, or it could be about your spiritual practices. It's really a time for you to get your mind, your body, and your soul in alignment and functioning at your highest vibration, so this way you can flourish for the rest of 2022. So don't be surprised if you get a strong feeling of just being overwhelmed, and if you do, it's just a message for you to slow down and take a moment to take care of yourself. Look at your daily routines and see if you are doing the things for yourself that you know are best for you, in terms of sleeping enough, having your spiritual practice consistent, putting the right fuel in your body. This 6th house full moon will bring major benefits moving forward if you make the necessary adjustments now. This is also a time to just look at your daily routine overall and ask yourself, how can you more efficiently use your precious time? What needs to be released from your day-to-day and what needs to be implemented? This is also a full moon of gratitude, Virgos, so it's about embracing all of the things that you have to be happy about and showing that appreciation by taking care of yourself and making sure that you are balancing your practical responsibilities with your personal care. This full moon is about loving you, Virgos. You are so willing to go above and beyond for other people. I love that about you, Virgos, but make sure you are doing the same for yourself. It will set the tone to a nice energetic shift for the remainder of 2022, also showing the universe that you are ready for the abundance that's coming your way, because you are showing that you love yourself, and the universe will reflect that love right back to you. So embrace this opportunity, Virgos, and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Libras, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, for you this will be in your 5th house. So Libras, you are really in a good energetic space right now because you have Leo season in your house of dreams coming true, the 11th house, and you have this full moon in Aquarius in your house of creativity and fun. So unless you have some challenging aspects that this forms with the rest of your chart, this full moon shouldn't be too heavy for you. Now, although the 5th house is the house of good times, this is still a full moon, which is all about bringing clarity and necessary endings to make the way for new beginnings. But you can find enjoyment in the process. The full moon may bring up some feelings for a child if you're a parent, not at all meaning that anything bad is going to happen. It's just if you're worried about one of your children, it's just going to intensify a bit during this time. And this could also apply to feelings coming up around your romantic life, or if there's some sort of creative project that you've been working on. But remember, Libras, you are going to let that wave of emotion or worry pass you right on by, because you know that worry is a wasted emotion. And 100% of the time it is connected to a what if situation or what is going to happen situation. So for you, the more you can stay connected to the present moment, the more this full moon in Aquarius will bring that enjoyment and that fun and laughter, which is where you thrive. You are solution oriented and very clever at coming up with how to deal with things. So if something comes up, you will deal with it. So have confidence in that, but make sure to not spend any of your energy energy in the what if world, where things haven't even happened, and they may never happen. This is a full moon that is meant to bring balance, it's meant to bring clarity and optimism for what's to come. And the best way to do that, Libras, is by enjoying and having gratitude for exactly where you are right now, then making plans in terms of what excites you for the future, and releasing worry and replacing it with innovative ideas and optimism. So embrace this time of release and embrace this time of new beginnings, and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Scorpios, when the moon reaches its full phase for you, this will be in your 4th house. So Scorpios, this is a time of year where if any issues with family or your home life have been brewing, they will for sure come to a head during this time. This could be anything from you being fed up with where you're living right now, or either wanting to move, or just wanting to change things around a bit. This could be a situation where if you have roommates and you need to make some changes there, then you will be ready to do so. It could also be relative to a conflict with certain family members. That could also be amplified. Whatever area that I just spoke of that resonates for you, just know that this is a time for change and clarity regarding the situation. This is where you can identify what the issue is and then come up with a resolution, knowing that the resolution may be in just letting go. Either letting go of the past in terms of anger and resentment, and then just starting new with certain relationships, of course, while still having the necessary agreements or boundaries in place. The thing is, the full moon is assisting you, Scorpios, in resolving the situation so it will no longer weigh you down. There are only 4 more months left in 2022, so now is the time where you are deep into the year and it is time to really start manifesting everything that you've been working towards, Scorpios. But that is difficult to do if you are emotionally distracted by situations regarding your home life, because part of manifesting is having an emotional support, having a strong feeling behind what it is that you want. And if those emotions are distracted, it'll be very difficult to make that connection and keep it consistent, especially if the distractions are coming from your home life, because that is meant to be your safe space where you can recharge. And when I say this, I mean your physical home, but also your emotional foundation with your family. You may not live with them, but the relationships with your family can weigh on you just the same if they are out of sorts. So use the energy of this full moon in Aquarius to absolutely be grateful for who you are and for what you do have in your life in terms of love and support, but also know that now is the time for change in terms of addressing any lingering issues. That way you can experience the strength and confidence that having a strong foundation can bring. And you deserve it, Scorpios, so embrace this opportunity for a new chapter and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Sagittarians, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, this will be in your 3rd house. So Sagittarius, don't be surprised if some feelings come up around some situation where you are not sure if you should say something or not. Meaning there could be a lingering circumstance or a lingering issue where you don't know whether to say something directly or to just let it play out naturally with leaving it where it is. Well, think about it like this. Aquarius energy is very solution oriented, just like you, but they also, because they're a fixed sign, are very persistent. And although that energy can be challenging at times to deal with, it does get things done. So if what you're dealing with hasn't had some movement in terms of resolution by the beginning of the full moon phase, then it could be very beneficial to take that step and speak your truth. A sturgeon moon is all about manifesting what you've been working towards, and you also have Jupiter and Aries on your side. So this could be the perfect start to finally getting that breakthrough that you've been looking for regarding the situation that I was describing earlier. Now, the 3rd house also connects to siblings or neighbors. So if your situation involves that area of your life, this further amplifies the productivity that you will find in speaking your truth. It might be best to not have these conversations on the full moon though. You want to give the full moon energy a bit of time to take hold and express yourself a few days later, because emotions may be running high. This is especially true if you will be writing an email or texting or using some form of communication involving social media. Overall, Sagittarius, this is a fantastic time for taking the necessary steps of communication to open the door to this next chapter of opportunity. The sun's in Leo, Jupiter's in Aries, Venus will also be shifting into Leo, which adds up to the planetary lineup in terms of being very favorable for you. So just know communication is your key to the floodgates of manifesting opening up in your favor. Speak your truth and do so from a place of clarity of intention, not an emotional place of point proving or scolding. Forward movement and solutions are the Sagittarius way, and now is the time to capitalize on those. So embrace this opportunity, Sagittarius, and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Capricorns, when the moon moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, for you this will be in your second house. As you may or may not know, the second house is all about your possessions, your property, and your personal self-worth. So yes, some financial situation may come up, but more than anything else, don't be surprised if circumstances come up that really bring light to how you value yourself. As a Capricorn, you are very confident in your capabilities and in your ability to discern the best plan of action. But this is the time of year to really take inventory on how you see your own self-worth. Do you allow people into your life that don't respect the energetic balance of give and take? Do you sacrifice for others when it really just makes their life easier in some way? Meaning sacrifice can be a beautiful thing, but when someone is genuinely in need, not when you are sacrificing to keep them from having to do something that they are perfectly capable of doing on their own. So as you are navigating your relationships during this full moon, make sure you are paying attention to the balance of those relationships. Now, if you were planning on making a big purchase during this time, Capricorns, just know the energy is supportive of you not regretting that decision. Also, if you are in a situation where someone has leverage or power over you because of finances, this is the time to break free from that dynamic. This is a good time to collect any debts if you have people in your life that owe you money, and it's a great time to pay any debts if you owe someone money. This is all because the Sturgeon moon is bringing the message that it is time to manifest what you've been working towards manifesting, and you absolutely don't want those energetic channels to be blocked by a stagnant energy like debt or power struggles. You want these issues to be resolved so you can make space for all you deserve, Capricorns. And I know a lot of times as Capricorns, when we see astrologers talking about our sign, they're going to be talking about money a lot of the times because that's the stereotype with Capricorns. But this full moon genuinely is about that area of your life because it is transiting the second house. This is that time of year for you to really take stock of that area of your life, but even deeper, taking stock of your self-worth and the relationships that you have in your life and what truth they reflect back to you. So take this opportunity to embrace your self-worth, to forgive anyone that may have wronged you in the past and let that go, and make sure to have gratitude for the abundance that you do have in your life and step into this next chapter excited and ready for all the abundance and rewards that are coming your way. And happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Aquarians, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, this is going to be in your first house. So Aquarius, depending on the rest of your chart, Leo season may have been a pretty challenging time up until this point. Now, when I say that, it's because dealing with your polar opposite energy is going to diminish the Aquarius energy in your chart. So if you're left with, let's say, Pisces and Scorpio, well, then your month would be much more emotional than usual. But if you're left with Aries and Capricorn, then you may have had a very productive month. Either way, you can rejoice because your Aquarius energy is making a comeback starting on this day, which is fantastic for you. Now, it will be a surge of this energy and an emotional surge, and it can be in extremes one way or the other. The good news is you can expect a major change to come about in your professional or personal world. This could be a relationship that you decide to take to the next level, or a relationship that you decide to end, whether friendship or romantic. This could be a job or a project that you've been waiting to get an answer on, and you either receive that yes that you've been looking for, or you receive a no. The good news is, more than likely with Jupiter and Aries on your side, the probability of a favorable outcome in these areas is very high. Not to mention, if your natal Jupiter is in Aries, Leo, Scorpio, Gemini, or Aquarius, this also puts you very high in the probability list of getting what you want. If you start to go down the path of analyzing yourself or being self-critical, because this will be transiting your first house, let that go immediately. Shift to the excitement of stepping into a new chapter after receiving closure and making the necessary endings and exciting new beginnings. And sure, if you want to change your look up, then definitely go for it. But more than anything else, this full moon in Aquarius is about gratitude for all that you are, Aquarius, and all that you have, and all the excitement for all that you are capable of, and optimism for what's ahead. So embrace this energy in your first house, and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Pisces, when the moon reaches its full phase in Aquarius, this will be in your 12th house. So this is going to be an intense one for you Pisces out there. Luckily, intense doesn't really scare you because you actually have a depth that thrives when things are intense. And when I say intense, I don't mean intensely bad by any means. I just mean the emotions you may be feeling can come in flashes of extreme clarity. The 12th house is ruled by Pisces. It's the house of the secret self. So these realizations you will be having will be about that hidden side of you. Now with the sun in your 6th house, this will be all about finding that balance between your day-to-day routines and the spiritual, more personal side of who you are. So feel free to take some downtime for yourself during this full moon energy, Pisces. It will be very healing and it will be very regenerating for you. Don't be surprised if one of these realizations that you have during this full moon is that you tend to sabotage yourself by either giving into that voice of doubt too often or by avoiding certain issues for too long. This can be relative to your personal life or your professional life or both. What this full moon is bringing you, Pisces, is the opportunity to not get down on yourself at all, but to say to yourself, I'm going to start treating myself with the love I know I deserve by making sure that my self-talk is honest but loving, clear but optimistic, and by making sure that you take your tendency to avoid difficult issues right off the table. Just know by facing these things and resolving them, you open up the space for more enjoyment and more fulfillment, and that is what you deserve, Pisces. So use this full moon energy to be grateful for all that you have, for all that you are, release any regret, identify any undermining habits, and hit that reset button, ready for change and excited for when the next full moon comes around, which will be in your sign. Now is that time for fulfillment and change, Pisces. 2022 only has 4 more months to go. Let's make it the best 4 months of the year, and happy full moon. Okay, so there you have it. The top 3 things you need to know about this super full moon in Aquarius, along with some insight into how your sign can make the most of this full moon energy. I hope you all enjoyed the information. If you did, please don't forget the baby tap. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.